Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be covering the 10X event that is going to be starting tomorrow. I'm going to go over the champions involved, kind of review them, and talk about if it's going to be worth it or not for you. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, you won't see this in the news or not anything yet. It's something that's going to be coming down the road in about a day or so. They're going to be launching a 10X event, and I do want to give you guys a quick teaser that I have been approved to do a fun little competition for the content creators that I'm excited to dive into, but I'm still ironing out the details, and I will let you guys know exactly what that is, hopefully by this weekend. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the content providers and for you guys, because we're going to crown a champion in a fun little competition that is the likes of something that we have not done yet in Raid. So stay tuned. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get into these champions. It's going to be for Septimus, Ethos, Fushon, Royal Guard, Allure, and Seer. So this isn't going to be a specific faction or anything. It's going to be all across the board. We've got high elves and all sorts of demon spawn and orcs, different champions. They're just kind of randomly cherry picking champions, and I don't think they've done one like this before. So it's kind of a new type of 10X where they're just cherry picking specific champions and kind of going from there. So yeah, only 6 champions that are going to be 10X'd. Again, Septimus, Ethos, Fushon, Royal Guard, Allure, and Seer. So let's go over them one by one, and let's kind of grade them really quick. So starting with Septimus, I love this guy. I actually use, I'll show you really quick, why not? We might as well show it here. I use this guy. I feature him in my spider team. I actually have 2 of them that I use for this endgame kind of spider nuke strat, and there's all sorts of different situations in the game where Septimus, or even having 2 Septimus, can do very well and perform runs at warp speed. And he's kind of an insane damage dealer, and he's got an ability that's based off of enemy max HP that you will see right there. Holy Sword, boom, 1.6 million and 1.6 million, and then we proceed to finish it off with the Royal Guards. So Septimus is a very cool legendary, and definitely worth getting, but we'll get into the end if it's worth a 10X event or not. But Septimus himself is a very cool champion to have. The next one to go over is Ethos. Now, Ethos is one that I do not have. He's a Void legendary, and I have never had the pleasure of summoning him. But the famous thing about Ethos is he's a pretty insane nuker because of this A3 that is an AoE that always crits. So you can build this guy with insane crit damage and just have this extinguished life ability go off in the arena, and he can hit insane, obviously, because you can get up to like 350 crit damage, up to close to 400 if you don't have to worry about any sort of crit in the end game. You can stack amazing crit damage on him, so he is definitely a cool champion that I hope I can kind of dive into someday. The next one that's part of the event is going to be Fushon, a legendary from the Lizardmen. Now, Fushon has a pretty generally useful kit, and I remember back when I first started playing Raid, kind of when it first went live, Fushon was thought of as like this S-tier champion that everybody wanted, and he was in everybody's teams everywhere. Over the past few months, Fushon seems like he's kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of how the community views him, but he's still a solid champion, and he's got an A2 that hits all enemies twice, and each hit has a decent chance of placing a stun, so kind of similar to Sill of Drakes that everybody kind of thinks is pretty good right now. And then he's also got the A3 that attacks at random and does a defense break, the big version of it, and an all battles speed aura of 24%, which is tied for best in the game for ally speed in all battles, with a base speed of 106 and a pretty decent base stats of 16.6 HP and over 1,000 defense and some decent attack to go along with it. Also, a little bit higher crit damage base. It's not the normal 50, it's going to be 63 instead of 50. So Fushon, again, he's not godly, but he's not trash. He's just a pretty solid legendary. And then we're going to dive into the epics. So that was the 3 legendaries that are going to be in the 10X event. And then there's also 3 epics. And I do really like the epics they chose. They're all pretty fun epics that are viable endgame in certain areas. Royal Guard is an insane champion. Similar to Septimus, he's got the enemy max HP ability here on the takedown. And takedown is one of the best abilities in the game in terms of speed farming. It's famous in the Spider and the Dragon mostly. I use double Royal Guard in both the Spider and the Dragon, and double Royal Guard in a couple different like potion dungeons and stuff. So Royal Guard is amazing for speed running. He's endgame viable, and he's a very good epic. Then we're going to dive into Allure. I absolutely love Allure as a champion. I've got some artwork on my stream based around Allure. I love her aesthetics. I love her design. She's most famously known for her A1 that attacks 3 times at random and decreases the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. Now, this is absolutely incredible for the Fire Knight because not only is it a 3-hitter on an A1 to help you blast through the Fire Knight's shield, but stealing turn meter and reducing turn meter and all that good stuff is amazing for the Fire Knight. So Allure, even though she's affinity weak on stage 20, I still use her in my team just because she's that good in terms of breaking down the shield and eliminating that turn meter of the Fire Knight. She's very good in faction wars and a lot of other areas of the game too. Reducing turn meter on an A1 of 25% is pretty significant. And one note is she's a little bit tough to gear because she needs high accuracy to proc that turn meter effect. She needs high crit as well, and she needs high survivability, and she's based on attack, so if you want her to do any sort of damage, you have to get attack as well. So she kind of needs every stat in the game. So she is very gear intensive, but if you invest in her with gear and all that sort of stuff to get her functioning properly, she is a very cool epic. And the last champion that's going to be part of the 10x event is the epic for the orcs, and that is CEDAR. Now, the fun thing about CEDAR is her karma burn. So what she does is she kind of removes all buffs and debuffs, and then however many there were, she blasts down the enemy team, and she is amazing for dealing with waves in higher stages of dungeons. She can absolutely decimate things, and I will actually show you this in action really quick. It only takes like 20 seconds. Watch me blow through the golem these first couple waves using CEDAR and champions that place a bunch of stuff, and watch me get to the boss in 17 seconds. Depending on the frame rate, I don't remember what I have it set at right now, but it'll be probably 17 seconds. There we go. We place a bunch of stuff. CEDAR nukes him down. 300,000 damage she hit for it. Now we're going to kind of cycle through again. Kymar is going to reset everything right there. We're going to place. CEDAR's going to nuke. And there we are, 17 seconds at the golem. But that is what CEDAR is known for. She is, admittedly, she's not going to help you progress as like a new player. She's not really designed for that. She's more of an end game type champion who's gonna need a specific team designed around her to extract the value out of her as a champion. She's not like a solo carry type of character. She's more of build a specific team around me and then I can shine. So, but she is very fun in terms of, you know, mid to end game players that have a specific team built around her. You can really get her to do some pretty cool things. And then just to show you the numbers that she can pump out, you can see my minute golem 20 team. Look at CEDAR's damage. 3.5 million damage in 1 minute, basically. So, yeah, she is definitely a fun champion if you can get the right team built around her. And it doesn't have to be these legendaries and stuff. You can do this with epics and rares, and it might not be a minute 07, but you can do the golem in like 90 seconds if you get a team built around CEDAR. Even if it's not these legendaries, there are other options to make that happen. So that covers the 6 champions that are going to be in the 10x summoning event. Again, it is Septimus, Ethos, Fushon, Royal Guard, Allure, and CEDAR. So I believe it's the first time they're cherry picking specific champions and not doing a specific faction. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And the final discussion is it worth it or not? I know many of you are not going to have any ancient shards. We just had a 2x summoning event. So basically it comes down to, should you pull your sacreds and your voids? Typically my stance is you're gonna want to wait until 2x events, but if you are a player who's very new, now can be a good time to pull your shards instead of waiting for an event, because your chances of getting they're all pretty impactful. I would say, yeah, I mean, Septimus, Ethos, Fushon, Royal Guard, Allure, CEDAR, they're all pretty decent champions. You know, the more I think about it, I'm going to recommend you wait for a 2x. They are cool champions, but I would feel so bad if I recommended you pull a bunch of shards and then we hit a 2x here in like 2 or 3 weeks and you're sitting on nothing. So yeah, my recommendation is to save for most of you. Now, if you are a whale who needs one of these champions, then go for it. But for most of you that are diligent about your spending, my drill on these is typically to wait for 2x if you can have the discipline to do so. But anyway, if you do want to pull shards, I'm happy to do it for you live on stream. We'll hang out and see if we can pull you some of these champions. I'm always happy to pull shards for viewers. So a link to my stream is down in the video description if you want to stop by and pull some shards whenever I'm streaming. I do stream every day. And also make sure and check out, I did a dedicated video on these discounted gear offers. I think it's my most recent video before this one, doing a deep dive into the math and having a full discussion on exactly if this is worth it, who it's worth it for, and all of that. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that kind of covers it. So as of tomorrow, we will be getting a 10x event for Septimus, Ethos, Fushon, Royal Guard, Allure, and Seers. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.